There's no doubt about that, but the American government and American politicians have had no trouble overtly supporting Israel's action. It seems a little less so from here. I'm just interested in the next step. Would we support the US joining in the Israeli military action if they deem it's necessary?
Look, Chris, I haven't been briefed on these matters for some time, so I'm loath to provide public military targeting advice to the President of the United States. But it's self-evident from public reporting that the nuclear facility at Fordow has not been able to be dismantled or damaged by the Israelis, and many respected and informed analysts say that only the United States has the capabilities necessary to do that. I think if this conflict were to come to an end with Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities at Fordow intact and able to quickly speed to a bomb in a matter of weeks or months, that would be a terrible end to this crisis. Now that it has commenced, our interests are very clear. We want that facility dismantled. It can either be dismantled with the consent of the Iranian regime, or it can be dismantled by American leadership. But I don't think it's a realistic option for it to remain in place, because it's a threat to everyone if it does.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. Let me get to your portfolio now. And the Treasurer's speech today on the economy. We know there are such pressures on the economy, business closures, escalating insurance, electricity costs up. Yet when it comes to this productivity summit, it seems that he's narrowed the focus down to tax reform. Do you trust this Labor government to come up with tax reform that might lower and simplify taxes, or are we looking at some tax increases here?
Chris, I think any Australian economist who's looked at our tax system recognises that it doesn't raise revenue in the most efficient form possible, and that there are reforms you could make to the Australian tax system which would give us a more productive economy. But you are right to be suspicious about Jim Chalmers' motivations here, because it did appear to me, based on his comments at the press club today, that he is starting to prepare the ground for higher taxes. And you would be mad to think that the thing the Australian economy needs right now is higher taxes. We're in the midst of a productivity crisis on Labor's watch. We've gone back a decade in productivity, back to 2016 levels. We have a business investment crisis. We have a living standards crisis, which has dropped by 6.3% on Labor's watch. And we have a budget crisis with deficits as far as the eye can see and $1.2 trillion of debt. None of those problems get solved by higher taxes. Even if you thought you could solve the deficit problem with higher taxes, the problem that you cause for yourself on the other side is a less competitive economy. And international reports came out this week showing that our competitiveness has slid backwards on Labor's watch. So higher taxes is not the answer. And while we're prepared to be constructive, we're not going to provide a blank cheque for Labor just to increase taxes on Australians.
Will you seek a seat at the table of the round table?
Well, I don't think you need to read the Treasurer's comments at his press conference today too closely to make it very clear he has no intention of inviting the opposition into the room. He spoke about the limited seats around the table of the Cabinet room as if there are no other facilities available in Parliament House with larger rooms that could invite more people.
Yes.
So I think his intention is clear there. We'll assess the priorities that come out of the summit on their merits. If there are good ideas that are in Australia's national interest, we will back them. We recognise productivity is a problem. The Treasurer has admitted that it's a problem, but he's like the arsonist turning up pretending to be the firefighter. These are fires that were started on Labor's watch in their first term, and now they're saying they're going to have to fix it. We will help them fix it if they've got good ideas that actually fix the problems.
James Paterson, thanks so much for joining us. Senator James Paterson there, now the Shadow Finance Minister, joining us live from Melbourne.